Hello, everybody. Of course, this is another episode of the Adopted Truth. I'm just sitting here telling you how much we appreciate you so much. We did take a little break. Everybody was just in their own mode at the moment. Now we're back. We're planning to release a few more episodes this month. This is the first one of the month. We thank you so much. I myself, of course, CL and Michael, just the whole TUT team. We thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Of course, send in your support. Tell us what you like about it. Tell us what you might want to, learn more about. Let us know wherever you may be. It's okay. We'll try our best to give you a good answer and something that will be helpful for you. Of course, you can find us at The Adopted Truth on Instagram and Spotify and Facebook. All The Adopted Truth, just all lowercase. You can look us up. We'll be on there on YouTube too. You can find us at The Adopted Truth. This is probably where you're watching. So of course, there's a comment. There's a comment section. So of course, comment. Let us know. Follow, subscribe. Send it to somebody that might need to hear it. This week we have Mr. C.L. He's starting his testimony, and it's a good listen. When we were recording, it was a lot to learn more about my brother. So of course I pray for you, my friends. I pray that the Lord, blesses you and you be blessed by what we're even saying to you. So of course, God bless you. Of course, be edified and learn the truth. Thank you so much. Yes, welcome everybody to the Adopted Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. C.L.V Mitchell. Of course, I got here with me Mr. Michael Williams II, and of course, Mr. C.L.V Mitchell. Today we are going further into our testimonial series, and today we have our main, our musical and audio producer and engineer, Mr. C.L.V. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get this going.
So I'll start off with introducing myself. Most people call me CL or CLV, but my full name is Cadiz Lord Mitchell Jr. the Fifth. And after Cadiz Lord, the periods. Put the periods there. I'm very serious. I'm very serious. No, listen. I'm so serious, bro.
Period.
I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, sir.
I have one sibling. Her name is C.L.V Mitchell. Appreciate you. And I'm a pastor's kid. So,
PK.
So am I.
PK
stand up.
Yes, sir. But to start off with my testimony, I'm going to start with the backstory during when my mom was pregnant with me, because that's where it sort of really starts. So my parents have been in ministry for quite some time, for so many years. They had been praying on where to plant and start the church. And a week before they were going to open the church, everything they had in their storage was taken. Everything important to them was taken. But a few nights later, my mom was praying, and God had spoke to her and told her that the devil asked for my life specifically. But he said, no, you can have their possessions in storage, but you can't have his life. Next, there was one time my dad was preaching at this one church, and one of the ushers, she was so obviously demon possessed. I'm so, bro.
Yes.
From what I'm told. And she started swinging at mom.
Oh, damn.
And there were some solid swings, so I mean, it would have messed me up.
Right.
But before anybody knew it, my dad had stepped in and said, told my mom, go to the back. I'll cast this demon out, but you got to get out of here so I don't have to fight nobody.
Yeah.
The next thing is that for me, which is very uniquely connected to my testimony, is that my parents would play rhythm games while I was in the womb. And so my dad would push against me, and and I would tap back with my feet in the same amount of times and rhythmically, however they did it.
Yeah.
And at this point, we move now to the next section of it, from birth to salvation. When I was born, I had no rhythm. I lost it all, apparently. Out of everything I did, there was one thing I grew up I really wanted to do, which was play drums. And anytime we would go somewhere and like at a restaurant, I would use chopsticks, water bottles, straws, anything I could use to play drums. But even though I didn't have the rhythm to play the drums, I was very committed, determined, and driven to being a drummer.
Yeah.
The odd thing about it is that on both my parents' side of the family, they're musical. So me being born without musicality was very odd, and it was already obvious that something was in play to a degree. Um, but to fast forward about 2 years now, at 4 is when I gave my life to Christ officially. It was at a youth camp, and I was in the back, and my dad was preaching the gospel in the youth camp. And I don't know, well, it was the Holy Spirit, but it was just that specific message, the way he taught it, it really connected with me and hit me hard that night. And so I chose to give my life to Christ officially that night. Um, within those first 4 years of my life, I also knew Michael and you all. Um, Now, I don't know how far, as far as like from us growing up to when we like separated. But from my memory, it was at about 4 at least. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, to move on. Um, to clarify one thing, before I move on, the true power of a testimony is not how many sinful things we have done. I'm a church kid, and for me personally, I didn't do and go a bunch of crazy things. So that's not really something you're gonna hear. But you will hear how I was lost in church. So regardless of where I was raised, I was still lost. We aren't sinners because we sin. We sin because we're sinners. That's who we're born as. This is called theologically total depravity. Um, which is, it's part of every nature in you. It's not something you can not do willingly. Why am I saying this? What does it have to do with my testimony? Many of us as Christians, and also to a degree sometimes as pastors' kids or anybody who's a child of somebody who is in ministry, a lot of the time we can feel like we don't have a testimony sometimes because maybe we're not out drinking, maybe we're not out smoking, doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So it's like, oh man, I don't have a bunch of things and so that's not something that I have personally, and that's not where the true power of a testimony is. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the fact that we're all lost in our own ways in life and areas in life, and that Christ came and saved us ultimately, and that's the true point. So if you're here to listen to us sort of have like a competition of who did the worst, this is not for you, and this is not what this is about. It's about God getting glory at the end of the day. But anyway, at about 5 to about 9 years old, I started to build a very serious hatred and anger towards people, mainly because while me and my family were trying to be faithful to God, people would take advantage of that. I was confused with God, but I was never angry at God, because out of everybody who would take advantage or do wrong towards us, he was always faithful. And that was one thing that always I always could tell, and that there's no reason for me to be angry at God, because he'll always be faithful to us. We were consistently moving from either a hotel to hotel or place to place. We were never really settled anywhere. And that goes as well as the church. and wherever God provided us with a church or a place to stay, that was it. One point at about 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken, we had moved to Houston for a little while, and then we came back, which was God really just trying to test and see if we're willing to choose Him over um
Over something that's more comfortable and more
yeah,
stable.
exactly. And we trust me in the unknown.
Yeah.
And so we did. And I also really want to thank my parents, because even when we were moving, they would also talk to me and ask me of what I was thinking about it. They would always try to involve me in stuff the best way they could, which I do appreciate. Never tried to just keep me from stuff. They always tried to involve me, so I always did appreciate that. Um, all through this, I didn't really have a relationship with most of my relatives, in all honesty. Um, there was a few I had a relationship with growing up, but most of them either just hated me or wanted or just didn't really hang out with me, or um, didn't really care. And every church we would get to, there would be a point where it looks like it's gonna get somewhere, and somebody would try to sabotage the church. Um, and that's where I became very aware early on that church people will hurt you far more than anywhere else.
Mm.
Um, it hurts more because your guard is down. It's where you don't expect to be stabbed in the back by multiple people um, throughout however long you've been in church.
True.
And it didn't help that my own relatives would do the exact same thing. So I was getting it from both sides, from people who I was serving, but then people who I was also living with and related to.
Mm-hmm.
There would be days and nights on vacation with my dad or my mom where my dad would have to take care and fix situations at the church, because people would metaphorically set C4 off in the church just to enjoy the chaos and watch everything go apart, just to start stuff and tear it apart. Um, and it's sad because some people will only live through life being chaos and never be what they were actually intended to be and called to do, which is honestly very sad. Um, some people in the church would ask for counseling um, while he was at the church or away with us on vacation. And he would stay faithful to God and give counsel and advice where it's needed. For those who were going to take the advice seriously, but then there were also many who just asked because they wanted the preacher, when honestly I just wanted my dad. And it really hurt me that we were trying to honestly serve people, but on the other hand, people would take advantage and not even do anything with it. And I didn't even mind the sacrifice. Like, if you're gonna do something with it, go ahead, and if that's what I have to do in order for you to further your walk in Christ, okay. But the fact that you don't do anything with it, and you know you weren't gonna do anything with it, it's like it was just very painful. I remember a few specific nights at around like 7, where I would ask God, like, why can't I just sort of have a normal childhood? Like, everybody else seems to be having fun and enjoying stuff, and here I am living with my parents, trying to help out everywhere in the church, doing all the construction, all the painting, all the sound room, like doing all the work just for somebody to come under us and try and slip the church from take it from us. Um, and from that, you you realize how you can be traumatized and live in a very loving household, even though your parents are there to listen to you, but you just don't necessarily know how to tell them. Um, and that's something that um, I pray that whoever's listening really listens to this, where you might not know what to say, but God knows what you're trying to communicate, and it might not feel like He's there, but He's there with you. Um, seeing my parents go through what they went through hurt me more than me going through it, if that makes sense. I'm a very caring person, if you know me, and I don't mind if I take the hit, but if those I love take the hit, that affects me a lot more. So a lot of the things that they went through, I took on my shoulders as well because they were trying to be faithful, and I'm like,
Yeah, man.
they don't deserve this, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's your parents. It's like
right.
the people that's like taking advantage of them. They don't really have that personal relationship that you do with them, because it's like that's your flesh and blood.
Yeah.
So it's like, they're taking care of you, and then also having to take care of the church and people around them.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's a lot for a kid to have on his shoulders.
Yeah.
So I
Like
feel you.
I knew it wasn't like a burden. Like they
Yeah,
made it, clear that they were there for me all the
of
time.
course.
But because I always felt like bad for what they were going through, I never wanted to. I knew that they would always be there for me, but I didn't. I felt like if I told them what I was going through as well, that would add on to their problems,
Yeah.
um, and to anything they were dealing with. And I thought like,
Yeah, you thought like, that would kind of affect, well, not so much affect y'all relationship, but like it would change it.
yeah, like
Because
if
it's like you're sharing things that they haven't heard from you at the time. And it's like, yeah, I'm telling you what's going on with me. And it's like, they're worried about you, and they're gonna communicate and
yeah,
help you through it. But then that's like, like you're saying, like that's a lot on them already with everything else that they're doing. So it's like, having to worry about my son, he's going through something, and then it's like, that's just more stress. Like how you're seeing it and how I'm hearing it, that's like you didn't want to put more stress on them.
Mm.
yeah, like
And didn't want to affect the service too, because it's like if you're serving somebody, then you're
right,
probably like,
Yeah.
man, I don't want them going through trying to serve and they're worried about me or something.
Mm.
yeah. And then on the other hand, it's like part of me was like, you can be selfish. Like they're your parents,
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, most of the people in the church didn't really care. So, and I could always tell. Like, praise God that I had the discernment in the first place.
Of
But
course.
I could tell like, okay, they're not taking it seriously. They're not. So it's like,
Yeah.
why am I sitting here unnecessarily, taking the sacrifice when you're not gonna do anything with it?
Yeah. Why
I
don't
thought
I?
like if I handled
Mhm.
what I could handle, it would take off some of the burden for them.
True.
Um, and this brings me to about the point of 9 where I don't exactly remember the location, but my dad was preaching away at this one church, and he specifically felt it on his heart. God put on his heart to pray for me. And remember, throughout from I was born up until this point at 9, I don't have any rhythm and I can't play at all. I've been trying, but I'm not able to. And my dad had prayed over me, and quite literally right after that, I got up and got on the drums and just started playing. And it wasn't nothing crazy or complicated like, a player's been playing for 10, 15 years, but that in and of itself is very miraculous and showing that even early on, God had his hand on me, and that this gift, he was trying to show me that this is not mine. This is something that he owns, but that he has chosen to use me for music. Um, and for this next section, from drums to rededication, um, from around 9, yeah, to 12, I've been drumming for my church now, for my parents' church, um, helping out with the worship team. And because I can do the music, I would try to help out more where I could. I felt a little more confident in other things. Um, but music production was not something I had even thought about. It wasn't even on my mind. Music as a career wasn't even on my mind. just in general, it wasn't something I was really concerned about or thinking of. No other instrument I was thinking of gonna play. It was just drums in my mind. Um, so up until high school, I was homeschooled. So a lot of this stuff I was living through daily. I didn't really have a place to sort of get away from it because people were always trying to bother us everywhere. Um, and it's rough to think like, okay, we're going home now, so I can hang out with my family. But then somebody else does something, and it's like, oh, they gotta go away and take care of this. And going through that at that age is, and also one thing to understand about me, I have a very soft heart, and so I was, in all honesty, the type of kid where you didn't, if I was in trouble, you didn't have to do nothing. I would tell myself. That's just the whole truth. So that's just the sensitivity I had. Um, so to go through that with that kind of sensitivity was very difficult for me personally. Um, Now to get to about freshman year, which was straight hell for me. Because not only was it the first year that I had been in any school institution, but it was the first year I had to really take like official tests like in a school setting. Um, when I was homeschooled, my mom would always try her best to situate the room we would use for schooling in a school, environment, and set time regimen so that I would start to get used to it before high school. But it was not going to. It definitely was not what high school was. Um, that in freshman year is where I really started to learn what it means to lose, but also how to lose as well, and do it with the right character and honorably. Um, and crazy enough, so on my first math test, I got a 12%, which, if you know me, I'm not good with numbers. But um, I had worked really hard that year. I ended up passing with a D. It wasn't,
Hey, yo.
That's
I
really
ended up
good.
passing. But it was that legitimately, that test was something that broke me. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I got home, bro. So my
Like, damn,
bro,
I feel bad. I feel bad. Like, dude.
my parents were never the kind of people to
Let's go homeschool.
like really punish me majorly for something like that. But like I was just terrified on going home. I was like, oh Lord, this is my first
Like,
test
oh,
in
no.
school. I got a 12%.
Yeah,
I'm most
bro.
likely the first year I get into a school. And okay, so to add on to it, my dad teaches at the high school.
Ah, dang, dog.
Right. So
He there,
So-
bro. He like, how'd you do,
He's
dog?
watching you.
I don't know.
He's watching you during math
like
class.
honestly, I didn't even get the test back
Learn the
yet.
context of
Not
the
yet.
I was
equation,
dumb,
son.
dog.
Break down the Greek.
Like
It's simple.
I'm
It's
sure,
not like that.
like how's the test go? I'm sure it was.
It was okay.
Somewhere.
I know how.
It
his
wasn't
dad-
too high, but it was,
I
wasn't.
know how your dad is, bro.
So-
He's like, hey,
So,
see
father.
ya. He's like, hey, man.
But also,
I love the question you asked. Let's break that down, word by word, letter by letter. Let's actually look in the Hebrew. Let's see. What does the W mean in Hebrew? Let's start at the first. Let's parse it out. What does God have to say about the word what?
bro.
What's observations?
Now, also, I will say I did add on to my own fear. I was a little over dramatic in it.
He was shaking.
Bro, I was so nervous, bro. Like, because also one thing, a lot of people compared me to my dad nonstop throughout
know
the
how
first
that
2 years
feels,
in high
bro.
school, and because my dad's intelligence is focused more in curricular activities, more like books and that area of the school. For me, I'm more musically focused in my um brilliance. Couldn't remember the word. And so to do that, but then also have classmates around me who would be like, "CL, why aren't you acing these tests? Like your dad is super smart, and you." And this wasn't even just the freshmen, like that are part of. I'm a freshman too, and then so you would have juniors coming up, and they would hear stuff talking with the freshmen. They would say stuff and ask me like,
"That's crazy."
That's just to get in your head.
Their
parents.
But also one thing. No, you're right. It was getting in my head. But also one thing for me too, I was very easy. Like in high school, it was easy to get in my head.
I feel you.
And also, so here's one thing too, and I think this is sort of universal for a lot of people, but I criticize myself a lot more than anybody else will.
True.
So if I hear a lot of people saying one thing, and then on top of that, I'm saying it to myself, I'm affirming what they're saying. What they're saying ain't even true. But anyway, having people consistently compare me was very rough. And then, like I said, it didn't help that I was comparing myself as well. Yeah. And that's one thing that I, throughout my life, but specifically at high school and on, I really heavily started to compare myself. And also to further add on to this is that I thought high school would sort of be an escape from the craziness of church, but it only added on to like every situation. So everything I thought high school would be, it was not. So
what type of high school is that? Is that a Christian high school?
Yeah, it was a Christian. It's
exactly.
A Christian high school.
It's gonna get worse, big dog.
And
we know the Lord forgives us.
Right.
I don't know about you.
Let's test the waters.
And so one thing for me too is like, I didn't respond to a lot of it because my dad was at the school, and I'm like, I want to carry out the name respectfully, you know. True. But also I didn't want people just talking at me, so I was like,
bro,
I
can't let you slide, bro.
And also, so to keep in mind too, like I was so angry just from all the church. I was like, please give me another reason. Please give me another reason.
We gonna run this
because like I'm a fighter. I can fight. I don't, but like I can.
Yeah, no.
And it was in. Let me just be real. It was in a Caucasian school.
Yeah.
So
he's gonna beat all them little white kids.
Front hand.
Oh, step out.
Sorry, Chester.
Charlie, you just gonna have to get this
bro,
kid,
like. But yeah. So
shoot Samantha too.
Samantha is crazy. Whoa, we're cutting that out, dog.
We're not putting no names. But overall,
so she's real.
No, she's not real. What?
You know Samantha, dog. You know about Samantha,
bro.
It's gonna be all the unedited, explicit.
But just with all that within like the first half of the freshman year, that legitimately broke me, bro. Like.
Samantha, go get these hands, bro.
Oh my god.
All right, go ahead. Hold on. All right.
Anyway.
My fault. I don't know what that means. Go ahead. It's like 10 o'clock.
All right, bro. Chill. Please continue.
Man. But overall, through all of the like failures in like so it wasn't even just math. Mm-hmm. Every class I was not doing good at all. So a C was my highest grade. That was like pinnacle of pinnacle for me.
Passing, dog. At least you passing, man, dog.
No, listen, and I was grateful to pass. Don't get me wrong.
Exactly.
But at the no, it really sort of was. It was
really
for me. The high school was really where I found like me to a degree.
True.
And like I was saying, every test was very difficult. Yeah. But one thing I did learn throughout so far in my freshman year was my work ethic, and my determination to succeed, even though mostly my success was just passing by a little bit. But it's still succeeding, regardless.
Shoot, you still
listen,
going,
bro.
A dub is a dub.
I graduated.
Yeah, you graduated. I graduated too, man.
And I'm listen, bro.
Let's clap for us.
Applause for us, man.
It's all right. 3 homeschool kids.
Listen,
bro. We all graduated. No matter how
From
long we was
first
in
floor to the
homeschool, dog.
second.
Exactly. We all on the top now.
Yeah,
now
we
what?
all
And we're all smart. Now what?
Was it right, bro?
Now what? You can't say nothing.
Now
what?
And if you do, we'll block you.
I don't know about that,
Keep
big
that.
dog.
No.
No.
Okay.
Keep that.
It taught me how to try my best consistently, even where there was little, if anything, to show for it. And most of the time, there wasn't nothing to show for it. And that goes for church as well. Consistently trying to stay faithful to God, but never really having a big congregation to show for it, or a bunch of musicians to show for it, or a big media team.
Churches.
But then you also think about it from a different, when you're young, as you get older, you see things from different perspectives.
True.
So like at this point now, I see it as like, okay, true, other churches have, you know, a lot of people in them, but they don't have theology like at all.
True.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that
I ain't learned nothing.
on one hand, I felt like my childhood was taken from me.
True.
But on the other hand, is like God and this is really for all of us, like early on didn't allow us to have a normalcy because we were uniquely chosen.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we had to, on our own, go through similarities, but also differences because of who God had made us to be and called us to be.
Of course.
So for that, it's like, I wouldn't want to go through that. But if that's what that took for me to give God glory and worship him, right, so be it. And I'm not going to change nothing. You know?
I want to be a football player. God said, no, sit down. Don't learn how to do something else with your life. You're not doing that.
But on the other hand, too, it was really cool to be at the school where my dad taught. I didn't have to worry about like sitting alone at lunch. I would always just go with my dad and we would eat lunch together.
That's cool,
bro.
That's
dope.
dope.
Like I didn't have to worry about like people, because like I do remember there were a few times I sat in lunch and a lot of people stared like those first few times, and I was like, I'm not doing this no more. Absolutely not. Because if I'm not mistaken, my dad had asked me, he's like, you sure you don't want to eat lunch with me? I'm like, no, I want the experience. No, forget it.
I remember my high school, like, dude, that's right off. I just came off of homeschool. It's like, dude, I've already been in school. I know how these lunches work. I don't want to sit with these people.
Yeah, bro.
But I was forced to sit with these people because we had security guards. You couldn't go nowhere. I'm like, dang.
Security guards blocking the students.
For real. They're like, you can't go nowhere. For real.
Trying to go to the bathroom.
Like,
go sit down.
No. There's
But-
only one
Your
bathroom.
But the consistent pressure from everybody was very devastating to me emotionally.
Yeah.
Now throughout freshman year, I did join the basketball team.
Splash.
Well, so the coach was absolutely terrible.
Dude.
What's his name?
Nope. You instigated. We're instigated.
My fault.
The coach was terrible. He hated me,
Brick.
and I hated him because he hated me.
Reciprocal.
You know who you are, respectfully. Not even
Sir.
saying that in a demeaning way, but
Yes, sir.
it just is what it is.
You're the reason.
Bro,
You're the reason why we were so trash that year.
Grown man, by the way.
bro, no, for real, acting childish.
All right, I'm sorry. That got
No,
Throw the
it was
ball,
true though,
throw the ball. Pass
because
the ball.
here's one thing too, like we were a Christian school, and he would be acting wild in games, so it's like you're not even representing our school right. And then on top of that, you're
First
disrespecting me middle of the game consistently,
strike.
openly in front of everybody, home games and away games,
Hey,
and also the players on the team too would mess with me and clown on me, regardless if they meant it or not. That was the first team I had been with, so it really hurt me.
I feel you.
I'm like, I'm just trying to help y'all win. Like, this is something I'm genuinely sort of enjoying doing. Y'all taking the
I'm
fun out
good
of this
at
for
it.
me.
I'm just good at it, dog.
Yeah,
Like,
and I was
don't be
good
mad at me
it, but
because
like,
I'm Kobe and y'all the rest of the Lakers.
bro, but like
the rest of the Lakers. You don't even know their names. Like, I
now
didn't-
the
Don't be mad
irritating
at
part
me,
about
dude.
it was though that I barely got played at all.
Dang.
Like he would, bro, even in home games especially, he would walk over to me and then choose the person next to me and stare straight at me, bro. Like just deliberately trying to find any way.
You mentioned Kobe, dog, but you put in Bush Parker. I don't want to
Like,
hear that.
And it was frustrating because like then when I be put in the game, then I get taken out for something I didn't even do. It was
That's
somebody else's
stupid.
bad pass.
Man, that's so dumb.
Yeah, but and like also on top of that, like I
You
was
got Kwame Brown running around on your court, and you gonna sit me down, but you're not gonna sit this Kwame. He's trash, dude.
But yeah, like it hurt nonetheless. And okay, one funny story I think I will add to this. There was one player, I still hate you for this. I'm making this abundantly clear. No, I'm not saying a name, but you know who you are. You know what you did.
You know what
it was
you did,
mid practice.
You trash.
And I was on a fast break, right? I'm like, okay, I'm getting my break. I'm gonna show people what you know. What I'm saying what I can do.
Yeah.
This dude runs up behind me and
Push.
pulls my hair.
Nope. Get down, buddy.
Bro, I wanted to
Fade.
hit him so
Run
hard,
that
bro.
fade right now.
Haymaker, bro.
Bro, but like also he was real skinny too, so it's like it wouldn't be difficult for me
Yeah.
to like mess him up.
Fades. Run the fades real quickly.
But also it was like
real quick.
I also tried to keep my composure a lot
True.
because it's like if I did, then I don't want that to look any kind of way to my dad, even though
Yeah.
he would understand why.
Yeah, of course.
But like
You
I
still
also
gonna have to
tried
get
to
this fade, though.
keep honorable and you know keep
True.
strong character in the middle of it.
Yes.
And
Yeah, you better than me,
one
dog.
reason why the coach hated
Way
me
better than me.
was because he couldn't control me.
Yeah.
My dad was trying to
That would
raise me
suck.
to be a man. Meanwhile, he just wants a dedicated player.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, I'm not sure if I want to be a player, if I want to do music. What I want to do,
Right.
I have no clue.
True.
And that is one primary reason why he didn't play me,
Mm.
which is fine because at the end of the day, I'm glorifying God, so it don't matter.
Yeah, bro. You
Um,
Luke Walton as a coach, dog. Like you trash. Like you're so trash. You got Kwame Brown, Smush Parker on this court right now, and you benching your best player because you feeling some type of way, dog. I don't want to hear it,
bro,
I feel
get off the team.
I feel like with that though, just looking at where you are now, everything was like pre-training grounds for you
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
like you got like it makes me think of like David and Saul. Like Saul, you a grown man.
No,
Yeah,
for
this
real.
Like,
boy
you tripping
has
out.
nothing. This boy is just doing what he's supposed to do,
Right.
and you hating on him
You want
because
to kill me because you
you're not doing
didn't
what
do
you're
what you was
supposed
supposed to do.
bro.
and
it-
so you in a position of power, and you ain't even really
You
doing
didn't
what
follow
you're supposed to
the
do.
orders. You didn't follow the commands.
Oh, okay. Here's one funny story I will tell about freshman year. There was one
Let's
game in
do it.
particular. It was an away game. This is funny though. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
So this is the first half of the game. He cusses us out in front of like the
dude?
away school. Yeah,
Yeah,
the coach. So then we go into the locker room. Then he cusses us out at the halftime.
Huh.
Then he quits the second half. He's like, I'm not. He didn't quit coaching, but he just stopped coaching the rest of the game,
Okay.
right? After the game, he goes back, yells at us, cusses us some more. I let my mom know. My dad whipped the car around so fast and went
He
to
said,
him. He's
"Hold
like,
on now,
listen,
dog. Hold on
listen,
now."
hold on. And he didn't do nothing crazy, but he went to him and he said, listen, I understand that you want a player, but like I said before, he was trying to raise me to be a man, but not just
my
man, a
son.
godly man.
Right.
You're not
And
gonna
so he's
cuss around
like,
my son,
let
dog.
me
It's a
tell you
different
something.
thing.
He already has a father in his life. He don't need you to tell him what to do. And secondarily, like for me personally, it takes a lot for me to respond, just in general, because like I'm by the grace of God at this point a lot more controlled in my
True.
responses
Yeah.
than I used to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just wild, man. But like you did say though, a lot of this, even though yes, it was at a Christian school and yes, it was at a private school as well.
Mhm.
For me, it was like you said, training grounds. It was very much so, even preparation, like in character wise, and which sort of honestly goes to my next point, which is like,
Real quick too. It's like sorry. It makes me think
All up in the mic.
sorry. All right, it makes me think of like just listening to the stories that you and your family went through. Our family, you know what I'm saying? But
no, yeah,
like it's like God trained your character through I wouldn't even say they're really losses.
It's hardships.
Yeah,
Like,
just
the
hardships
tests.
because it's
Yeah.
like if
Like,
those people
yeah.
for one weren't even really there, as you're building up. You wouldn't want them there when it's built.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't even steward it right. They wouldn't even
Absolutely.
And you
honor
see the
God.
result of all that. You see the result of it all now in hindsight, and how much y'all like just had to, yeah, all the tests that you went through, is seeing the result of it and seeing why, certain things had to happen
Yeah.
when you were growing
Even I'll say this one more point, and if y'all got questions, we can do that.
up. Okay.
But taking those experiences and actually learning from them, not just going through them, but like saying, okay, because, and this isn't just me, this is all of us, like God has all called us to be leaders, and so for me, it was like, okay, this is how I know not to lead people as this coach. Do not act like him, this fool.
Yeah, man.
And
It's
even
foolish. It's biblical.
stupid.
and know how to follow terrible leadership, and be honorable at the same time,
Right.
and godly and be respectable. And like after every game, no matter how much they disrespected me, I always shook the coach's hand. I was like, "Thank you very much." I was very respectful every time. But yeah, before I continue, if y'all got questions,
Let's see. I guess, what was, like, at any point of your life, what would you say was the hardest point, I guess? Or like, what would you say was like the least comfortable part of where you were at that time? And then how do you think that's molded you now into the person that you are?
So honestly, I would say freshman and sophomore year for me. Before high school, I was accustomed to crazy stuff happening. Like it got to honestly a dangerous point mentally for me where I expected stuff to go wrong. I never expected, anything to happen. And I was used to consistently moving places, never being still anywhere, and somebody who's not relative or relative like messing up the church, having to do it all over again. So like that I was somewhat used to, but this was a lot of uncharted territory for me.
Okay.
And so I would say those really the most difficult things for me going through having to do both of those at the same time. But then to the second half of your question, which was you said how did that mold me into who I am now?
Yeah.
I would say one which is being a gentle leader, but also biblically strong in that as well, which is learning from the basketball coach, like I was just mentioning earlier. It molded my work ethic, my dedication to stuff, but primarily it was how to handle loss, in all honesty. Well, I don't know if it was more so that, but more so pressure, I think, as well, from a lot of things around me, and to stand strong in that. And so let me correct that. Not just stand strong in Christ.
Yeah.
Because that is the only reason I got through any of that.
Of course.
And that's the only reason I passed any of my grades.
Hey, man, shoot. I know
Bro.
that.
But I would say that would be those 2 years for me would be that, yeah.
For sure.
You got any questions?
I have some. Yes.
Ask them.
I'm thinking about the first one. So, what are some of the ways you processed when you were younger, and you're going through church and you see? Now, I say this is definitely a little bit of a personal. I think it's a personal question. How did that affect your heart and your mind when you're going through and you're seeing like a lot of hardships and you're seeing like the people that you're serving, the people that are there, and you're seeing them either mishandle what they're getting or just throw it away. How did you view them and how did God heal you through that?
So, to start off with the first part of your question, which is how I dealt with it. Before drumming, I didn't really have any way of dealing with it, in all honesty. Um, and so the most would be like sports, but that wasn't even something I did to um get my mind off of it or or deal with it. So a lot of it was honestly built up anger. And over time, mentally, I was just consistently getting darker and darker, as far as how I view people and how I viewed some of my relatives. Um, so to answer that part of the question, there isn't really a whole lot I did to deal with that. The most is I just remember nights just begging God and praying, like, Lord, help us find people who genuinely love my parents and love the ministry, but care for them, and that was one thing that's always sort of been me, is like, you can think how you want on me, that's one thing, but seeing my family enjoy time with people who are godly, but also, and care for them as well, that's one thing that really I pray for, and God had given us that throughout the years, with my godmom Terry Dawson, and you all, early on, and you all for a shorter period of time. I'm not entirely sure where that fits in the time.
Neither am I.
But nonetheless,
cannot
that is
tell
still part of it, and
Yeah.
and there are other people I'm not entirely able to remember just because I don't just want to name names,
Yeah, brother, I can't tell you.
but and I'm not really able to because I don't remember. But there were people who God put to help us, to give me that feeling of family. Because one thing I really hated growing up was that I never really had a lot of family holidays. Like a lot of the holidays were people who felt like family and not
It's
actual
always the church
relative
people.
families. Yeah.
It's always the church people.
And even then it was always, okay, you're walking into something knowing somebody gonna be
on something.
instigator starting something, or
It's always something messy.
yeah, bro. And so that was one thing for me, like, that also really added on to the pain, which is like, okay, I never really had a whole lot of
really enjoy
and
myself.
let me also make this very clear, that was not all my relatives. That was not. But you do know who you are, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So so yeah, that was so literally God just
Right now.
placing people in our lives throughout where it was needed really helped for me to go through. And then if you could remind me of the next portion of your question.
I said this, I said that, and then
This and that.
I'm gonna skip. I can't remember it. But the next question is, did you ever talk to anybody about how you felt? And that could be your parents, that could be somebody. Was there anybody that you can trust at that age? Because I know you said like 9.
Yeah.
Was there anybody you talked to that gave you sound advice that, and even if it was God, because sometimes it will just be God directly that gives you.
Absolutely.
But like, was there anybody that you went to? Was there anybody that you confided in? Because it's like you're like, I can't talk to I don't feel like I can talk to my parents because I don't want to.
And that person for me was my godmom. That was the first person I had really told how I felt about people. And not just people, church people, and yeah, and however wherever position they so called served in, um and that was one person in particular that I was really I had talked to very consistently, and we're still very close to this day. She's even still close with the church.
Absolutely.
um
Love her.
but yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that was somebody I really throughout the years, and I don't unfortunately remember the my age when we had met, but it was early on. So yeah, we've been through quite a bit, and that's the person that I've really talked to over the years. I've talked more to my parents about different things I was going through, um, and just different dark thoughts I was having towards people and towards family doing wrongs. But yeah, that's yeah.
Mm, I got two more. Um, because I'm also thinking about we're doing this in sections, but right now, this section that you've passed, somebody else is currently walking in, and they
Absolutely.
may not even have a lot of the different things that's needed. They may not have access to a person to confide in. And so,
Mm.
what would you say for them? It's a twofold question. What would you say not to do, and what would you say to do as far as the lessons that you've learned,
Mm.
or scriptures, whatever you can give to them
So
in this season of
one
their
thing
life?
I would say is that I struggled with was letting it go. That is something that I was terrible at. Um, I allowed for it to build up because, in all honesty, it was something I was very comfortable in doing, and I didn't want to go to bed at the end of the day knowing, okay, they're just gonna keep on living, and then God will judge them. Like I was like, no, they need to get what they deserve.
Right.
Um, and so one thing I would say is one, release that to God first and foremost, which is very difficult to do.
Wait. Can you explain what that means to release it to God in your words?
One thing that I personally had to do is write down what I the emotions and thoughts for people that I had that I needed to release to God. That's one thing that helped me sort through what I'm needing to deal with. Um Another thing is, as you're doing that, be prayerful that God presents things to you that you can continue to um write stuff down, or however that you need to do that. That was just something for me that I did. Um uh but then as far as who else to confide to, it can be very difficult ultimately. Um so
People in the
here's the thing,
church would, yeah.
you may have people in your life who are already trying to talk with you, but I also understand from personal experience that even though there are people who are there to talk to you, it's not always something you're wanting to talk about or you're willing to talk about. Um, but one thing I will say, the more you talk with it to somebody who's theologically sound in your life,
Good,
um,
good. That's good.
somebody who you can trust to not just tell everybody, but also at the same time, somebody you can trust to have the right intent in helping you
Mm,
and give you proper advice. And what that partially looks like is whatever you're confiding to them as far as what you're going through, or however alone you feel, or whatever thoughts or emotions you're going through right now, that they respond not just in a way that helps you personally, but biblically. Those two things go together. It's not one or the other. Um, so those are two things I would say that are very important. Um, but I would also say, obviously be in prayer about it. Um, and in time, God will bring the right person or persons who are that to confide to, that you can talk to. I also understand it. To some, it sounds corny, it sounds old news, but God is always there to listen to you. And when you're in a moment of desperate need, it's not gonna sound corny. So
Yeah, you sure is gonna call on them when you that desperate, and
listen,
it shouldn't have to be that way. You shouldn't have to be desperate to call on God. It's like, regardless of how much you really need Him,
absolutely.
it's like you can always go to Him at any time and point. It's not like He just turns off and on. It's something that Bishop said in service one time. It's like, God doesn't stop talking. Like, He talks regardless of how you feel or whatever you're going through. It's like, at certain points of your life, it's really dependent on how you're listening and if your ears are even open to hear what God is trying to speak, or like trying to say to you.
And that's a process that is not just overnight. For
Yeah.
some it can be, but that's not everybody, and that's definitely not me. And to further testify to that, just literally these past 3 years have been very healing in that, and that's because I have deliberately made attempt to be around people who are good for me to be around, um, people who genuinely care and have the good intent for me, but also one thing that you shouldn't do is focus on all the bad. God is going to get done what He's going to get done regardless, and the devil cannot stop that. But one thing he tries to do is make you focus on everything else, all the bad things, all the negative things. It really goes back to Genesis in the garden. God has all these things for you that He's trying to do, and trying to help you walk through or whatnot. But it's that one thing that the devil tries to put focus to. It might not just even be one thing, but whatever that is for you, series of circumstances, whatever it may be, do not hyper focus on it. Yeah, that would.
Thank you. Have a couple more, but maybe they can wait.
I mean, if
We
you
gonna
got questions,
go ahead, big dog. We gonna
Yeah.
be here for quite a while.
So, how did this change your perspective on service when you were serving people and you would see that they did you wrong, and what did you observe? Because I know your parents are really good at serving people while having open wounds, while
Yeah.
having knives in their back. And so, how did you learn from that? And even, I would say, in things that you've observed, not necessarily in them, but maybe in other people, or just generally, how did you observe that is not the way you want to serve people? Like,
No,
because you
I
can.
get you. Yeah. One thing for me is that to a degree was early on in my life who God had started to make me to be. I've always been the kind of person to find the kid off in the corner, you know, and hang out with them, involve them. Um, but as far as how that changed my viewpoint on serving, you said, um, it's one thing to be a pastor's kid and help in the background, but to be actively serving as well is a different experience because you are actively trying to worship God while having anger towards other people.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Like, let's say a service about to start, And
Somebody just like made you upset because of
Right.
what they said or something that they just brought up.
Or they're being underhanded or lying.
Yeah.
Having
And
And
they're
so-
being
undertones.
sneaky. They're being real sneaky. With
yeah,
whatever
and
they're
so
doing
now
in
you
there.
working with them
Yeah.
in whatever area of the church,
They
you know.
think you can't see that.
Right.
Right.
Or some know that you can but don't care.
And still just do it anyway.
Yeah, and that's a whole different level to it.